everyone, if you are sensitive, please do not look at the pictures. I had seen the comments which led me onto your profile, and I thought, wow, there is a lot that's going on, and I feel as though I need to speak with her, and hence I approached you and I messaged you and I thought, right, Jessica, could you tell me a little bit more about what's going on, what it is that's happening? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to let you take the lead. I'm very much interested in the health condition that you are suffering from. So we'd like to know a bit about the health condition first, and then we're going to lead on to your diagnosis.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let you carry on.
Right, so it's been about a year or two. I'd been struggling from like sharp stomach pains. It'd just be random and it'd go as quick as it came. So I thought nothing of it really. I just thought it's really bad period cramps or something like that. So I did go to see my doctor. I got sent to specialist gynecologist. They had a look at me with ultrasound scan. They found nothing wrong. They just kept assuming it was a bacterial infection or a water infection, so they just kept treating me with antibiotics. And then beginning of the year started off really well. I just started noticing my digestion was slowing down quite a bit, and then all of a sudden my stomach was double the size that it was just a couple of hours before, and I was in absolute agony. Nothing would sort it out, so I got my mum and dad to take me to A&E. They had a look at me and said it's constipation and a water infection. Sent me home, antibiotics, all was good. And then I went to A&E again a few days later because I was in agony, nothing was working, and that was when everything kicked off. And I was in an emergency surgery within about 24 hours. They had no idea what was wrong with me. They assumed appendicitis. They did think it was something wrong with my ovaries or fallopian tube, and they had to just investigate through keyhole surgery. They couldn't see anything, so they had to do a full incision down my stomach. And that's where they found that my copper coil contraceptive had pierced through my womb, and because that was left unnoticed or untreated, that led to an infection in my fallopian tube, which had to be taken out because it was just too far gone. It was really bad. The other fallopian tube did show signs of infection, but that were treatable, so they left that. And then along with all of this, I developed sepsis, which got into my bloodstream, it got close to my heart, and peritonitis, which I didn't know existed before, but that's the big one in all of this, because you go to hospital, you've got a stomach ache, you feel silly for being in A&E for a stomach ache. Yeah. When there's people around that are coming in that are really hurt. But I ended up being so poorly with it. I had to have another operation because the pus and the infection came back twice as bad. In the second operation, some of my organs started shutting down, my liver and my spleen, and they didn't think I'd make it. They didn't think I'd make it through the first one, but the second one was a lot worse. And I spent altogether about 2.5 weeks in intensive care. Just, you're led in a bed, can't do anything. You can barely pick up a pencil to write messages to your family who you can't speak to because you're intubated.
Wow.
It was absolutely crazy.
So what were your thoughts whilst you were laying in that bed in intensive care?
Um, it's hard because there's things that you go through in intensive care as well, so you don't have time to think. I went through ICU delirium, where you have really bad hallucinations, really bad vivid dreams. I was having dreams that my family were letting the doctors kill me. And I'd come out of the dream and I'd say, why are you letting them do this to me? Which must have been horrible for my family and my partner to hear. But the main thoughts was, I'm just happy to be here. I don't care what's happened. I know that I was really poorly and I still am, but I'm here.
Wow. So all this happened, was it within the 2 years? The past 2 years?
So that's where the pain started. But all of this that's happened recently started on the 10th of February.
So it's very recent.
Yeah, this has all happened very recently.
Right, okay. So when did you start thinking, right, okay, like when did the alarm bells kick in and say, right, there's something more than just a stomachache going on here?
I was looking after my friend's little boy. He's 5 years old, and I'm usually able to do stuff with him and at least read him his bedtime story. But this time, I was just cuddled up on the sofa with a hot water bottle, just trying to sort it out. And he looked over to me and he went, "Jessie, are you all right?" And I just knew, like, I'm not all right. If he's noticing this much, I shouldn't be in this much pain from a stomachache.
Yeah.
So, and with the bloating as well, seeing my stomach double in size, and then the next morning I couldn't walk, and I just rang I rang 111, and then they sent an ambulance, which it was just taking quite a while. So my parents ended up taking me so I could get there as soon as possible.
Right. And after the first operation, because you sent me a couple of pictures as well,
Yeah,
and some of the pictures of quite, because I'm not a very sensitive person, but when I
yeah,
saw the pictures, I was like, wow, that
yeah.
is a lot to take in for me. I would just like to show my viewers the pictures, which will be on screen. Can I just warn, if you are sensitive, please do not look at the pictures. Okay, so as you can see from the pictures, Jessica has gone through a lot. However, I would like to show the pictures of Jessica today. And Jessica's also shown me a massive difference in the pictures, of course. And so I'd just like to show you what Jessica's stomach looks like now. Okay, so thank you for having a look at the pictures. Like I said, if you are sensitive, okay, please do not look at the pictures. So Jessica, with everything you have gone through, as soon as you heard about the coronavirus, because obviously that is the current topic, how did that make you feel? And like, what did you think about in terms of the coronavirus, your health? What were your thoughts?
Well, at first, it was strange because I went into hospital and there were just like a case in China, maybe a couple more dotted around, but it wasn't anything big. And then by the time I'd come out for all of this and come out of ICU and was able to catch up on the news, I was a bit taken away by it. But I felt safe being in a hospital. I was being looked after. That was the main, like, that was the main drive for me at that time. But it was leading up to coming out of hospital. I came out 2 days after lockdown started. So I was really scared. I had fluid on my lungs. I could barely walk. I was grey in my skin because I still had the life drained out of me. But I still tried to get outside for some fresh air because I was deprived of that in hospital. It was quite scary coming out to all of this, not being able to go and live my life after nearly losing it twice.
Yeah, of course. Now, I just want to go back to your time at the hospital, and of course, after the operation. When you saw yourself and your stomach and all the bandages, because as we saw from the pictures, it's transparent, the bandages. How did you feel when you saw yourself like that?
Really, really vulnerable. The first time I looked, my partner looked for me and he said it's not what he expected because we just got told you're going to be left with an open wound. And I was like, okay, I expected just something small, not the whole of my stomach being open. And you was able to see my actual stomach. You could see it moving when it was digesting food. My bowel was out of my body. I could feel that poking out, and you could see a bit of my intestines. And it was just very, how am I surviving like this? I kept asking the nurses, have other people lived like this? Is this normal? And they said, yeah, we see it all the time, bigger ones than this.
Wow.
So that made me feel a bit more at ease.
Of course, of course. And you said your partner saw obviously your stomach first.
Yeah.
How has it brought any closeness between you and your partner, or how did you feel about it?
Definitely brought us a lot closer. So he saw me at my most vulnerable state. He was told that I might not make it through. He thought I was going to die at one point. So to go through all of that and then to see me just a few weeks later doing really well, like, and him coming and looking after me so much. He was there every hour that he could be. Sometimes they had to say, right, I think you need to go to bed.
Oh, bless you. So obviously it seems like you've had great support in terms of your parents and your partner.
Yeah.
But more than anything, you yourself have to have a certain way of thinking, your mental health as well. Was there any point or any stage where you felt like you wanted to give up?
Yeah, definitely. On the ward after intensive care, I started doing really well. They took me off the IVs. I was off some of the pain medication. And I felt a little bit like, right, I don't need to be here anymore. And it was hard to see my friends and family come and see me and then go home and live their lives as normal while I'm sat there just absolutely nothing going on. The most interesting thing is watching who's going past the corridor.
Wow.
I did really struggle with it. They offered me antidepressants, but I thought that's not something I want to get into. Even though they thought I was in it for the long term, like up to a year and a half, I thought this is something that I need to battle rather than relying on a drug that may or may not work.
Wow. You said it's something that you need to battle. How did that thought come across your mind? Because you said there was one point you were quite low. How did you think, right, okay, I need to battle this? What made you have that thought?
I think it was the first time I did a big walk, like out of the room that I was in, and I was a bit taken away by it because I thought that I wouldn't be able to do that for months. I got told that I wouldn't be able to for months, and it just made me think, I'm doing really well at this, so I just need to keep pushing myself, knowing my limits, not pushing myself too hard, because that's what brings you down. When you take a step back, that brings you down a bit more.
Of course, of course. The pictures that you sent me, there were a few pictures where you have got some writing. So please talk me through these pictures.
So when I was in intensive care and they put a tube down your throat to assist your breathing, I'd woken up a lot sooner than they thought I would. They thought I'd be out for a few days, but I woke up within a few hours, and I immediately just wanted to talk to my friend, my family, and my partner that was next to me. But it was damaging my throat talking through and around the tube. So I made a sign to write, and they got me a pen and paper, and I just wrote absolutely anything that was on my mind. If I was in pain, if I was missing someone. I think one of them says, I can't wait to breathe. And it was just having a machine breathing for you. You've not got that control. You want to breathe in, but it's breathing out for you. And it gets really frustrating, and you feel like you can't even do that properly. You feel so vulnerable.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it must have hurt your parents and, of course, your partner seeing you like this.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. And, of course, communicating with you via a pen and a piece of paper, it must have been hard for them as well as you.
Yeah. I tried to keep it light, and even though I did get serious quite a lot and try to figure out what had happened to me, I'd always find a way to make them laugh, even if it's just a little eye roll at them for not getting what I was miming. I tried to keep them happy. I'd always be checking on them, like asking, "Are you okay?" But I could see that it were really hurting them. Like when they'd have to get up and walk out, I were quite accepting of it. Obviously, they need to process it in their own way. It's easy for me sat in the bed on pain relief, just the only focus is surviving, but for them it's something big to take in.
Absolutely. And you mentioned something about the dreams that you were having.
Yeah.
How many dreams did you have? And of course, like you said, you would question your parents and your partner after the dreams. But would you know why you were getting these dreams?
So the staff in the ICU, the nurses and doctors, explained it to me. One of the main reasons I was having such bad dreams and just your behaviour changes. I was on a lot of morphine. I was on Phenytoin, which that's like linked to heroin, and I was on 50 milligrams of that, as well as quite a lot of morphine, and they gave me a buzzer, like a button, and when it lit up, like you could press it and it'd give you a dose of morphine, so you're in control of your dose. But because I was in so much pain, I pressed that every time it lit up, and I think they told me, I can't remember how much, but I had a lot of morphine in the space of like 2 days, and those 2 days are just a blur to me now. I lost track of time. I'd have a look at the clock, close my eyes, feel like I was out for hours, look at the clock again, and it's the exact same time that I just closed my eyes. It's so strange. I had dreams that people were trying to force a breathing mask onto my face, and I was trying to pull it off, saying that I just want to die, because these vivid dreams were just too real. And then all of a sudden I'd wake back up and my family around me looking at me like, "Oh, she's back." Like, "What do you mean I'm back? I've just been through all of this."
Yeah.
And that's where the doctors knew something was going on.
Yeah, so it seems like for you that it was so real.
Yeah.
All these dreams that you were having. Because listening to you, this is something that I'd probably see on TV,
Yeah.
in films, but you don't think that people can actually go through these kind of dreams and this kind of thing. It must have been very difficult for you to just suddenly wake up and think, "Oh, right, my family's all around and I've just seen this." Must be crazy
Yeah.
at the time. Right, so what are your career aspirations? So did all this affect your career?
Yeah, I've had to take a lot of time off work. I'm not quite sure when I'll be going back because I work with children in a nursery.
Oh,
I can't really risk my wound being damaged. I do need to take it easy. I don't listen as much as I should. I like to keep busy, but it's hard just lying down and doing nothing. I know we're in a lockdown and a lot of people are in the same boat where they're just stuck in, but you can do stuff like cleaning and getting into the back garden and stuff, but I do struggle with that sometimes. Sometimes I just have to lie there because it just hurts too much.
of course, absolutely. I mean, it's been a massive transition for you from somebody that was well, healthy, working with children to now all of a sudden be in a lockdown, but not because of the coronavirus only, but also because of your
Yeah.
own health. Okay, another question that I did write is after seeing the pictures that you sent me was taking the bandage off. How did that feel? Because it looks quite painful.
Yeah. Is this the see-through one?
Yes, the transparent one, yeah.
Yeah. So the first few times I would close my eyes and I'd just hold my breath and just want it to be over because it did hurt a lot. But as it started going on and I was able to actually look at my stomach, it started getting interesting. I'd help them take the dressing off. That feels
Wow.
really. I do it all myself now, other than putting it back on. I'll take it off and um, I'm just very observant with it, having a look around the sides, asking questions because it's all come together now and it's filling out, but it's starting to get really tight and stingy because all the new nerve endings are forming.
Mhm.
Um, it's just a very strange sensation. I'm having to use my wheelchair again just because it's so tight, it makes you hunch over, and it feels like you've done about, I don't know, 700 sit-ups in a row,
Wow.
just gone for it.
Well, I can only do two, and that's it. I struggle. So, the next question I did have, which is linked to what you've just said, um, has it caused a massive change for you daily in terms of your routine? Is there anything different you do now that you
Yeah,
didn't do before?
so I now have to use a chair in the shower because I can't stand up for too long, and obviously all the steam and the heat, it can make you a bit lightheaded. Um, I've I've had to have a lot of help with making my own food and stuff like that. I'm capable of it, but
Mhm.
standing for a long time really takes it out of me. So I've been having people making my meals for me. Um, I've been going for walks, which has been really nice, but they're more of a stroll sometimes.
Right, so it seems like it could be quite emotionally draining as well.
Yeah, it's it's hard to process because it all happened so fast. And now I'm like this. I'm at home. I'm doing quite well. It's
Mhm.
hard because I was told you're going to be in hospital for a year and a half, and then it was changed to a year and then 6 months. And then because my recovery's happened so fast, now I'm
Yeah.
back at home. It's a bit like, right, what actually happened? So I've been talking to my family and stuff like that. They've been telling me what it was like for them in hospital and what happened really.
Wow. It's shocking to see from the pictures that were from February and looking at you so well and healthy now. Such a small amount of time with what you went through in February and looking at you and of course your wound now, it's a massive change and it seems like your
Oh,
recovery was very, very quick.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect that from the size it was to the size it is now. And the picture that I sent you with the big wound, that
Yeah.
was still 50% smaller than just after the operation.
Really? Wow. So how, with everything that you have been through, how has that given you an positive or a negative impact on life? How do you see life now?
I definitely value a lot of things more. Like I'm wanting to spend more time with my friends and my family. And just using my time wisely, like not throwing it away anymore. It definitely changes your outlook.
Of course, absolutely. What advice would you give to people out there that might be suffering from a similar health condition to yours?
The main thing is it doesn't matter how hard it is while you're in hospital, it'll get easier. The pain will go away and it'll just become a memory eventually.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. And of course, once this lockdown is over, I'm sure you've got a lot of plans to meet friends and meet your extended family and stuff.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I want to thank you so much for your time and, of course, sharing your story with Simon on this show. We are using your story to empower others. And that's the main aim of the show, is for other people to share their story and to see that you're not the only one that is perhaps suffering. There are more than just yourself suffering from health conditions like yours. Just the one last thing I would like to touch upon, if you don't mind me asking, what is your age, please?
I'm 26.
Okay, so you're very young, very beautiful as well, of course, and going through something as crazy as this, it seems like it's been quite a crazy journey for you. So I would like to say to all my viewers that if a beautiful 26-year-old young girl can go through something like this and come out positive, healthy, and full of life, I'm pretty sure you can too.